Hello everyone and welcome back to the EDH Jank Center, your source for everything Commander and everything Jank. I'm your host Jordan or Prairies, you can call me either, and hey, remember like last year? Well, I certainly don't, and that's because my channel did not exist. And because I didn't exist until summer 2022, I'd like to cover my bases. Today we are starting a new series called Best Budget Cards. In this series we will be taking sets, ideally ones that I have not covered because again, I did not exist until 6 months ago, and highlighting 10 budget-friendly cards that we can fit into decks. And as per the typical vibe on this channel, all cards in this list are under $1. However, before we get cooking, I would like to point out that if you want to support the channel, there is a Patreon link in the description below. Joining the Patreon means you get access to the patron-only EDH Jank Center Discord. On top of that, you also have other cool benefits like watching my videos a day early, as well as custom deck techs built by me for you. If any of that appeals to you, go down in that description, check it out. All your support helps me make more videos like this for you guys. All right, kiddos, let's dive right in with Cloud Steel Kieran. 2 and a white, artifact creature equipment Kieran from Neon Dynasty Kamigawa. It has flying. Equipped creature has flying, and you can't lose the game and your opponents can't win the game. And it has a reconfigure cost of 5. You can pay 5 to attach to a target creature you control or unattach from a creature. Reconfigure only as a sorcery. While attached, this isn't a creature and it's a 3/2. Now, I am only highlighting this one, but honestly, any and all of the equipment creatures from Neon Dynasty are really fun and janky, and I just love them. I love cards with utility. You can play this as a creature for 3, and then you can pay 5, and it becomes an equipment with a really dope effect. And this gives the equipped creature flying, and you can't lose the game, and your opponents can't win the game. That's an amazing lock. If you pair this with something like Rebecca, you can really lock your opponents out of the win. Out of the win? I meant out of the game. You can lock your opponents out of the game. And at only 20 cents, I think this beautiful magical Kieran is worth and include in a lot of casual budget builds. Pause. Looks like we're at our next card, which is Light Paws, Emperor's Voice. 1 and a white, legendary creature Fox Advisor from Neon Dynasty Kamigawa. Whenever an aura enters the battlefield under your control, if you cast it, you may search your library for an aura card with mana value less than or equal to that aura, and with a different name than each aura you control, put that card onto the battlefield attached to Light Paws, Emperor's Voice, then shuffle. And it's a 2/2. Light Paws actually freaking slaps, dude. If I didn't have an Evra Halcyon Witness deck that I love so much, Light Paws would absolutely be my mono-white commander of choice. It's extremely powerful if you want to go for like the staple auras that are in the format. However, this also enables you to use janky, underutilized auras like Benevolent Blessing and Armored Ascension. You could literally play Armored Ascension and then go get Benevolent Blessing from your deck. And that just happens for free every time you cast an aura. Man, maybe I will just bite the bullet and make this deck. All right, next up on the list, we got Thundering Raiju. 2 red, creature spirit from Neon Dynasty Kamigawa. It has haste. Whenever Thundering Raiju attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Then Thundering Raiju deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of modified creatures you control other than Thundering Raiju. Equipment, auras you control, and counters are modifications, and it's a 3/3. Now this card, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call a Group Slugger. Pretty simple tech here. For 4 mana, we can just play this card. It comes down, if you have an army of creatures like ones you got from Grumgully the Generous, for example. Depending on how many creatures you have with +1/+1 counters, you can be dealing a ton of damage every time you attack. And it's even better if you give Raiju something to be evasive with, like a Whisper Silk Cloak. This will allow you to get Raiju in for damage free, so you can get that sweet attack trigger over and over again. All right, coming up next, we got Springleaf Avenger, 3 green creature insect ninja from Neon Dynasty Kamigawa. It has ninjutsu for 3 and a green. You can pay 3 and a green and return an unblocked attacker you control to hand. Put this card onto the battlefield from your hand, tapped and attacking. Whenever Springleaf Avenger deals combat damage to a player, return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand, and it's a 6/5. So obviously we know ninjas, we love ninjas, but we really love the fact that we can repeatedly return target permanent from our graveyard to our hand. This is Eternal Witness on a stick, folks. And a 6/5 for 5 mana is nothing to laugh at. If we buff this guy up or give him some sort of evasion, we can really be getting a lot of value out of his effect. Just wanted to make a little addendum here while I'm in the editing room. Eternal Witness says return target card, and Springleaf Avenger says return target permanent from your graveyard to your hand. So it's not as good as Eternal Witness, but still pretty good value for how cheap it is, monetarily. All right, moving on to Circuitnder, 3 colorless mana, artifact creature insect from Neon Dynasty Kamigawa. When Circuitnder enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life. When Circuitnder leaves the battlefield, draw a card, and it's a 2/3. So I wanted to highlight this card because 1, look at this absolute guy, but 2, I wanted to highlight that last effect. This triggers on leaving the battlefield, folks, not dying, only leaving. While there are numerous synergies I can think of, I wanted to point out one in particular with Delina Wildmage. The one drawback with Delina's design is that the token copies that she makes exile themselves, so we don't get any dying triggers off of the tokens. However, cards like this that just say leave the battlefield, exiling counts, kiddos, let's go! And in a mono red creature deck, sometimes card draw can be hard to come by, so I'll take anything that we can get. Circuitnder is a great include in Delina decks, as well as many other decks, including Cutie Tribal. Anyways, let's move on to our next card, which is Spinning Wheel Kick. XX and a green for a sorcery from Neon Dynasty Kamigawa. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each of X target creatures and or planeswalkers. Pretty simple tech here, guys. This becomes a mono green budget board wipe as long as you have a bunch of mana, which you do have in green, and a death touch creature like Tajuru Blightblade. And because this cutie little 1-drop has death touch, it doesn't matter the total power it has. As long as it deals damage to a creature, it will kill it. Now, is this the most efficient board wipe in the world? No, but this is janky and fun. And look at the artwork, it's super sick. Now, you may not have enough mana in certain board states to target every single creature with this, but you know, we're here for a good time, not a long time. All right, next up we got Spirited Companion, 1 and a white enchantment creature dog from Neon Dynasty Kamigawa. When Spirited Companion enters the battlefield, draw a card, and it's a 1/1, but look at his little face! Ugh. God. Now, obviously, you should put him in your decks because literally look at this guy, but also Blink decks like Brago really love this good boy. For 2 mana, it draws you a card and gets you a creature on the field that you can block with, sacrifice, but namely, you can blink it back and forth to keep getting that sweet, sweet card draw. And yeah, blink is the way to go, because I would never want to sacrifice this sweet face. Up next, we got Twisted Embrace, 2 black enchantment aura from Neon Dynasty Kamigawa. Enchant artifact or creature you control. When Twisted Embrace enters the battlefield, destroy target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. As long as enchanted permanent is a creature, it gets +1/+1. Now I know, 4 mana for a removal spell is not that great, but for 2 cents, literally 2 cents, this is an amazing ultra budget include. Pretty sure I just said amazing instead of amazing. I need to go to bed. For 1 more mana than murder, we get to kill either a creature or a planeswalker, and on top of that, we get to buff something up. I mean, that's pretty good value. And if you're building on an ultra tight budget like I usually like to do, this is, I think, worth an include. All right, second to last card of the day is Kappa Tech Wrecker, 1 and a green creature turtle ninja from Neon Dynasty Kamigawa. It has ninjutsu, 1 and a green. Kappa Tech Wrecker enters the battlefield with a death touch counter on it. Whenever Kappa Tech Wrecker deals combat damage to a player, you may remove a death touch counter from it. When you do, exile target artifact or enchantment that player controls, and it's a 1/3. Honestly, I think this guy is one of my favorite cards, if not my favorite card on the list. This card slaps. This is more value and removal on a stick, and I love that it has a death touch counter because we can proliferate those counters or double them with something like Vorel. Then with a whole bunch of counters on it, we can swing in with death touch, knowing that our opponents will be disincentivized to block, and we will get in for damage and be able to exile a bunch of problematic artifacts or enchantments. All right, our last card of the day is You Are Already Dead, 1 black mana instant from Neon Dynasty Kamigawa. Destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn. Draw a card. This is just such a solid removal spell for 1 mana, and it replaces itself. Just to give an example of how effective this card is, let's say you attacked your opponent with a 4/4 and they blocked with an 8/8, thinking you're a fool. Your creature will die, but the damage that your creature inflicted on your opponent's creature will remain until the end of the turn. So technically, right now, after combat, your opponent's creature is an 8/4. It has damage already done to it this turn. You can pay 1 black mana and cast You Are Already Dead, kill the creature outright, and then draw a card. I mean, this is so good. This is so good. Definitely should be in consideration if you're running black in any deck. And just like that, guys, we are done with another video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this content, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what cards from Neon Dynasty Kamigawa were your favorites. Did I miss anything? What sets would you like to see me cover next? I'm always down there in the comments interacting with you guys, so come on down and have a chat with me. All right, guys, that's it for me. I'm out. I'll see you on the next video.